Back at Bristol Motor Speedway, under caution, pit stops underway. Jeff Gordon said his car has gone from wicked loose to decent. They made some air pressure adjustments. Dick.
Greg Biffle is in. His front tire carrier, Jeff Silver, will tear one piece of tape off the nose of the car. Biffle said the car is pretty dang good, and that's the word he used. To Matty.
No changes for Rusty Wallace. He stopped short in his pit. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has a 77 to go a little long in his box. Junior should have a good angle out, but the 77 is going to be blocked in by his teammate. He's going to lose some spots as Junior was a little slow as well.
Next Tail Cup Racing on Fox, presented by Quaker State, is brought to you by Ford, the official truck of NASCAR. By Subway. Subway, eat fresh. By Coca-Cola. Let's make it real. And by Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Let Aaron's drive your dreams home today. There you see the danger of three teammates pitting nose to tail right at that section from our Quaker State aerial coverage. Right down at the mouth of turn number 1. Newman, Wallace, and Gaughan. Gaughan was done first. Couldn't get out. You can't go get mad at those teammates.
But I tell you who is really losing ground on pit stops, I don't know if it's because of adjustments or what, is Tony Stewart in the 20 car. He came in 6th, and he's going to be kicked all the way back to 16th. You can't have pit stops like that here on a continuing basis.
Well, I heard him say they were giving him some ice, so I don't know if there's something going on with him or if there's something going on with adjustments on the car.
We're working the 4th caution of the day. Let's go to Chris Myers for a Visa race break.
From the Hollywood Hotel, this is a Visa Race Break with Jeff Hammond. You know, this is the first year now that we have the points adjustment. The Nextel Championship, top 10 are within 400 points of the leader. So this is race 6 of 36, but really it's a 26 race season to get into the 10, Jeff. So we thought we'd break it down for people, and this will change from week to week. 4 categories, for example, looking great, your top 10, right? These are the guys that are pretty much in and would stay that way.
Right, stay that way. Your guys are looking great right now, definitely in the top 10. That's where you want to be. That's where you want to stay all the way up that 26th race.
And then the next group looking good. I mean, obviously these guys have a chance to get into the top 10, but they would be in good position if the season were to end today.
In the top 10 and definitely within the 400-point rule that NASCAR put out earlier this season.
And the next group looking in. These are guys that, you know, have to keep stepping forward. If they slide back, they can fall in danger.
They've got to keep things working forward if they want to get to that desirable level. Again, right now they're still within the 400-point reason, but they've got to get a little closer to that top 10.
And looking out, these are the guys right now. Michael Waltrip would not be. He's not within 400 points.
Michael's in trouble along guys like Ken Strader. He's right there on that borderline along with Scott Riggs. Got to go, guys.
All right, so guys could be falling. We'll keep an eye on this. This has been a Visa Race Break. We'll be back in Bristol in just a moment. We're getting ready to go things with Greg Biffle on the lead.
.177 complete. We're set for the restart. Greg Biffle leading Rusty Wallace, Brendan Gaughan, Ryan Newman, his teammates, Kurt Busch and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Kyle Petty on the inside has been as quick as the leaders the last 100 laps. Not able to get back on the lead lap on this restart.
Tony Stewart, the real loser, as you saw in the graphic, though. Kurt Busch and that group picked up 4 positions on pit road. That could be 20 laps out on the racetrack.
Darrell, the more lap cars there are on that inside lane on restarts, and then they were told, the lap cars, to try to move up high and out of the way. Hard to do both.
Yeah, no, there's no way. And what happens is, as you go down the first turn, they've got their preferred line. They move you up out of the groove, and the guys in front of you drive off and leave you.
Ricky Rudd released from the care center. He is okay. Jeff Hammond is with what's left of Casey Kane's car that brought out the first caution.
Guys, this is not my Ford cutaway car. This is what's left of Casey Kane's car. He's one of the early victims here at Bristol. As you can see, they couldn't effect repairs. So Casey Kane's day is shorted, just like the back end of this race car.
A great rookie season until today for Casey Kane.
And as we talked about earlier, when that wreck happened, he came in here 5th in the points. So he'll take a hit today on that.
5th place, Dale Earnhardt Jr. passes Kurt Busch, goes right after Ryan Newman.
Inside. Clear.
You ever notice how Kurt Busch is just inching closer and closer to the front? quietly today, too, so far.
Well, what did he tell you, Darrell? He doesn't plan to come here and win. His game plan's a little different.
Well, a lot like what I used to do. I used to just ride around, try to stay out of trouble for about 300 laps. And then, you know, I had a better car than everybody else. I hadn't had it all beaten up, you know. The fenders were still all where they're supposed to be.
You know, right after that sequence of pit stops a while ago, I was talking about Tony Stewart, and already because he's back in traffic, he's almost a half a lap down to Greg Biffle. Matt Yoakum, what's happening on their pit stops?
Larry Mack, on the first stop, there was a bad mount going from the old tire to the new tire on the right front. On the last stop, there were issues on the right rear and left front. Paul Aleppo, one of the pit crew coaches at JGR, looked at the video. Now the biggest thing, Tony's got to try to make up those spots at the racetrack, but Paul has to get the guys back mentally in the right frame of mind. They've got to put this bad 2 stops out of their mind and get ready for the next stop. You can't let these 2 stops keep them down. And DW, concerning the ice, it's a little preventive maintenance for Tony Stewart. He's fine.
And Darrell, you got to stay in the right frame of mind as a driver. You're saying, guys, I'm working my tail off getting to the front, and you're putting me to the back each time.
Yeah, and Tony, you know, being high-strung the way he is, he's not going to put up with a whole lot of that without taking that frustration out somewhere.
And oh, by the way, guess who's going to lead the most laps today? This man right here.
Has that look about it.
Got a very consistent race car. He gets beaten out of the pit there by the 16 car Biffle, but once they get going, Rusty just takes off.
This is the 3rd time today that Rusty Wallace has led. He's been out front for a total of 81 laps, 58 for Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart.
Rusty's one of the few race cars that I watch consistently lap after lap that never gets sideways up off the corner. He really accelerates nice and straight. That means he's not abusing his tires or his car.
But Darrell, what they'll have to do, Larry Carter, that crew chief, and Rusty, is they'll probably have to continue to make slight adjustments, especially late in the race as more rubber gets built up. They just got to be careful and not get too aggressive and jump the fence with their adjustments.
And that's where a good veteran driver like Rusty, if he'll just give you a little bit of feedback, not a lot, just a little bit, I think they can stay on top of it.
Kurt Busch, trying to four-peat here at Bristol, is in 6th place.
Listen, once you figure this place out, Mike, you set up wise, what kind of attitude you got to have to run good here all day long for 500 laps, you can come here and dominate.
Busch is closing fast on Ryan Newman.
He is, Mike, but they have struggled with that race car all day long, and they're just really not quite sure what's wrong with it. At one point, he came on the radio and said, it feels like something wrong. The car just isn't right. Most recently, he said he thinks the air pressure is too low on all 4 tires when they put 4 new tires on. He said it feels like the car is scraping the bottom of the racetrack. Meanwhile, Greg Biffle said this set of tires isn't as good as the ones he's had earlier. To Steve.
Well, Dick, Jimmy Johnson's been consistent for nearly 200 laps, riding in the 7th position. He won last weekend's race at Darlington. He said this weekend, one of his proudest moments of that race was a comment that Darrell Waltrip made, calling him a gentleman driver. Although Jimmy's just 28 years old, he has a deep respect for the sport and the veteran drivers. In fact, he said one time at Lowe's Motor Speedway, he passed Dale Jarrett and Mark Martin, came on the radio and said, I can't believe I just passed those guys that I've grown up watching. He races by the golden rule.
It's fun to see this sport unfold through a young driver's eyes. It's Tony Stewart underneath the lap car of Nemechek.
And you can always find bad examples, and it's good to find a good example every now and then. And I think Jimmy exemplifies what a champion would be, what it should be like.
Scott Wimmer in the Bill Davis 22. The Cat car trying to take the spot from Ricky Craven. This race is for 14th. These are lead lap cars back through 25th position.
And you know, back on the 97 for a second of Kurt Busch, that's not good feedback when you tell the crew chief there's something wrong.
Oh, yikes. That's not good.
Oh, they're spinning behind him. Again, the chain reaction. Caution is out as Robbie Gordon at 31 spins around.
Tony Stewart's got a whole bunch of damage to the right front.
That was one of those, I don't want to say Caterpillar. Well, it's Caterpillar kind of crashes, you know, the 22.
Here he goes. We might find out who the culprit was here. Tony not happy. I knew it was just a matter of time before Tony loses his cool. These pit stops are getting to him, and
he's losing it right now. And this is where your spotter comes in and say, look, you got a good race car, 200 laps, calm down.
You had a good race car. You may have just wounded it pretty good.
That was one of those thigh bone connected to the knee bone connected to the not funny bone crashes. Let's show you.
Yeah, with a 32 car, you know, it looks like he had to get out of the throttle, and I can't really see enough yet. Wimmer actually just got in the back of the 32, which shot him into Tony, looked like.
And then Robbie Gordon checks up and Ken Schrader turns him. But here's how it started.
See, the 32 gets loose. You got to get out of the gas. Here comes Tony. I don't know why he'd be mad at the 22 car. I think he's just mad. I don't think he's mad at anybody. I think he's just mad.
Well, Tony Stewart and Scott Wimmer, we're told, are going to be black flagged.
No, that's been a long, long time since we've had anybody in the penalty box.
Of course, both these are lead lap cars.
And they wasn't hurt very badly until all this started.
Now here's what happens to Robbie Gordon. He checks up. Ken Schrader's right behind him.
Yep, got a bump. Get the back wheels lifted up off the ground, and around she goes.
And his teammate Kevin Harvick in the 29 car just squeaks by.
Jeannie.
Little 40 car of Sterling Marlin just taking 2 right side tires. He's been fighting real loose. He hopes this will help. Steve?
Jeannie, small adjustment for Jimmy Johnson. As Larry Mack said, you can't jump the fence. A little wedge adjustment, 4 tires, and he's off pit road. Dick.
Greg Biffle into his pit right now, going to take 4 tires. Same air pressure in all of them, even though he didn't like the air pressures the last time around. He pits well back in the box so he can clear the number 38 of Elliott Sadler, who parks in front of him. To Matt.
Brendan Gault's Jackman just creased the right front fender. Rusty Wallace in. Looks like another solid stop by these guys. Remember, they changed tire changers again. Shuffled them on the 2. He's down and away. He's going to beat him off pit road again.
Good stop for Sterling Marlin. Good stop for Rusty Wallace.
Rusty's got to be loving this. They got a good race car. They're making great stops right now. Looking good for Rusty.
But look down on pit road on the front stretch. The NASCAR official, look at the official in front of Tony Stewart's car. He has his right hand on his head, signaling that there is an infraction by the driver. He has one finger in the air with his left hand, indicating a 1-lap penalty. And the same is going on in the 22 pit for Scott Wimmer.
I feel kind of sorry for Wimmer. I mean, I think he was a victim of circumstances. I think he probably retaliated a little bit. Maybe he shouldn't have, but.
And let's show you what happened after the caution flag came out.
It's one of those situations where you say, man, what are you doing that to me for? I didn't do anything.
Well, Wimmer turns in front of Tony. Tony turns down into Wimmer. And I guess that's how you discuss things under caution, Darrell?
Yeah, it's just, you know, you hit me once, I'll hit you twice.
And now they'll be back in 24th and 25th position, 1 lap down.
Ooh, that's a big hit right there. Look at those cars. They were not hurt at all. Minor damage on both of them, and now they look like they've been a meat grinder.
Well, the 1-lap penalty will drop Tony Stewart presently to 4th in the Nextel Cup standings as you look at your Chevy point leaders, Dale Jr., Tony, and Jimmy Johnson. So anger management is in operation here at Bristol.
We talked about attitude, but not bad attitude.